and welcome to the mobile voice booth. My name's Chris. I'm really glad to be doing this. As you may have saw in my last video, I was talking about doing this, and I wanted to make sure, everything is all set up and good to go. Now, yesterday, I was writing the next episode of Voice Booth, which is about Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's about Legend of Korra, but there was something I did want to talk about that I don't think necessarily warrants writing a whole episode about, and that's the M Night Shamalamalamalamalan film, which, if you have the unfortunate privilege of already seeing, it's really, really bad. Really bad, on a multitude of reasons why it's just... You could write a thesis on how many things that Shamalan just completely mucked up. And it's unfortunate too, because that movie had so much potential. And I'll talk about two things that I really did enjoy about the film. And the first of that being, the opening sequence of the animated series. It shows four predominant benders of their respective, the air, earth, fire, water. And it shows them doing some awesome, kung fu action. And they actually replicated that in the opening sequence of the movie. Now, had I not known going into it that that was the highlight and only highlight of the film, I would have been stoked. It would have been, oh dude, this is gonna be great. But I knew prior to it that the movie was gonna be bad, so I was really able to sit there and enjoy the opening sequence for just that being an opening sequence. As far as the movie, the other thing being, it had some amazing effects. Like, visual effects were pretty cool. That's about it. There was not a lot of other things that you can really point to and say that was a good job, because that movie was just terrible, which is unfortunate because there was a lot of potential there. And here's where I think they made a mistake. M Night Shamalan in all his interviews always talked about how much him and his family sat down and watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that's really cool. And how his daughter was all into Katara, and wanted, to have her necklace, and he seemed like he legitimately enjoyed the series for what it was. But when it came time to make the movie, all they did was replicate the entire first season to an hour-and-a-half movie. So they took 20 half-hour stories and tried to boil it down to an hour-and-a-half film. And guess what? That doesn't work. As you can tell by the end product, it just doesn't work. And it doesn't work for two reasons. One, trying to introduce somebody to the series via a movie that's just a summary of the series doesn't make somebody want to go out and watch the entire series. If I was... I don't know, the first thought I had was Lord of the Rings, but that was actually a good example. I don't know, it's if I'm watching something that's a summary of something, it doesn't make me want to go out and watch or read or experience whatever it is it's, summarizing, because I've already seen it. I don't want to see it again. So that was the biggest faux pas. The other one was, for fans, they finally get to see their enjoyment on the big screen fully realized, and with live action and whatnot. And they want to see something new, something different. They've already seen the season, When I went in there, I had already seen, I think by this point, I think the third season was out already by that point. I'm not for sure on that. I'm pretty sure. But I was wanting to go in and see something new. And here's what I think they could have done. Instead of just reviewing the first season, and this goes for pretty much any series that you can come up with that you want to do live action for, I think what they should have done is they should have done a story that not only fits into the canon being the entire series, but something that fans who have already seen whatever it is you're moving to the big screen hasn't already seen. Now, for Avatar, that could have been, and I so think this would have worked really well, was to do an hour-and-a-half film on Uncle Iroh's war that he fought against Ba Sing Se. The one where he loses his son, and that's kind of what spirals, Zuko and all of them, whatever. if we had gotten to see that war from the perspective of Iroh, and it's an amazing story anyway. We already know what happens, yes, but it's not something we ever saw per se. And that would have been a powerful hour-and-a-half film, just the relentless fight against this amazing, towering city of earthbenders, just firebenders and earthbenders fighting against one another, because that happened before Aang woke up in the iceberg, before even episode 1, but it's something that is predominant in the series, that pushes the characters to do something that they know, that it was their motivation for doing some actions, especially, Zuko's father, being, Fire Lord Ozai, or not Ozai, I think it was Ozai. No, that was Sozin. Sozin was the comet, Sozin was, but yeah, Ozai. Like, if it would have been really well done. I think it could have been well done. I think they could have done a good job with it. And they dropped the ball on that, but I really think that movie would have been really cool, and I think it would have been a success as well, which is why I'm also worried about if it ends up happening, the Cowboy Bebop film that supposedly is happening with Keanu Reeves directing and starring in. We've been hearing rumors about that for years, and I really hope they don't do it, because the rumor is, if you've seen Cowboy Bebop, the movie's going to be based on the first episode, the one with the guy and the wife with the drugs in the eyes, red eye. And I don't think I don't think it'd be a good film if they focused on that, because one, we've already seen it. We've already seen the entire, we already saw that episode. It's what starts Cowboy Bebop. Why would I want to go watch it in the movie theaters? And second, it's a half hour long, and it does everything it needs to do as an opening episode to a series. It establishes characters, it tells the story, we get everything we need done, and there's no reason to go back and stretch it out to an hour. I just don't think that'd work. So I'm really hopeful that, if they end up pushing forward on that Cowboy Bebop movie, somebody has the brilliant idea to say, we've already done this story, let's do something we haven't seen. And as far as Cowboy Bebop goes, that's very difficult, because I think you do fall into that same issue that you did with the M Night Shamalamalamalamalan film, was that, most of the stories that need to be told have already been told, and there are no, other than Avatar, the 100-year or the 100-day war or whatever with Iroh, what event happens in Cowboy Bebop that we don't necessarily get to see in the series? And if there is one, they already did it with Knocking on Heaven's Door, which was, if you don't know, the Cowboy Bebop film that kind of fits in the middle of the series, which is another weird thing. Like, it's very difficult to come up with more stories that finish a character that we've already seen this entire arc of. And from a business and marketing point of view, it makes sense. Successful character. Why not make a movie that's just going to make more money? But from an artistic point of view, if you've already said all the stories you need to with a character, why continue? Which is why I'm so excited about Korra. Because not only, I don't know if my new video is this video is going to go up before or after I finish the other episode about Korra, but, that one taking place 70 years in the future, and having the impact of all our characters, having influences from the first series, without necessarily showing what they did, I think that's going to be awesome. And I hope they don't rely too much upon flashbacks, which I don't think they would. Brian and Dante seem really smart about what they're doing and how they're doing it. They seem to really grasp the idea of what people want to see in a series and a sequel, and understand this concept that you don't need to serve to the lowest common denominator. And I think that's extremely important, and I'm really excited for this new series. I love the fact that they've got Toph's metal bending as a quote-unquote new form of metal bending or whatever. How all the cops in Republic City have this ability, and it's now something that's established as opposed to something that was just a one-off thing from the first series. Pretty cool. I really like that a lot. I'm supposed to pick that up in about a week here, and I can't wait to read that first novel. Apparently it's really good. I've tried to stay away from any spoilers, of course. Supposedly it takes care of the whole Zuko's mom issue, which I can either take or leave. I thought it was a big shock at the end of the first series when we find out she isn't dead. The way they filmed the scene, I think that was either in season 2 or season 3, it's implied, heavily implied, that she's just out of there, you know? And that was fine by me. They did, you know, they touched on death numerous times throughout the series and did a very good job of heavily implying something but not needing to show it, so that they could deal with big issues but still maintaining that marketability to the younger audiences, which is why I think a lot of people got into it, because they weren't serving the lowest common denominator. They were really focusing on telling a great story. And if I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. If you tell a good story, people will come and people will watch, and most importantly, from a business point of view, people will spend money on it. So Avatar is a great example. Full Metal Alchemist is another one where they're really starting to finally hit the head on the nail on how to market and sell to a North American audience in today's age about focusing on the art. Which, by the way, I am so excited. If you like Avatar and you haven't picked up the art book on the series, you gotta go do that, because it's really good. They've got some awesome... The background paintings in the original series was phenomenal. I loved them. I want more of them. I would love a print of them to be put into my room or something. That'd be so cool. But the art book's fantastic. It's got great notes and some awesome, you know, original sketches that they were coming up with when they were first starting to pitch Avatar. I think Dark Horse publishes it. Should be pretty cheap. I'll look when I get home before this goes up. I'll look at how much it is, and it shouldn't be too expensive. I bought it day one, and I remember sitting on there's a bridge. I used to live in Lafayette, Indiana, West Lafayette, right by Purdue campus, and there's a bridge, a footbridge between Lafayette and West Lafayette, and I remember going and picking it up at Barnes & Noble before they closed. I remember picking it up and walking to the bridge. I sat down and I turned my phone off. I didn't talk to anybody. I just sat on the bench with the river flowing underneath me and read that book for 3 hours. Just read it one sitting and was just in awe of all the paintings and all the people that worked on that series, especially the artwork. I mean, those backgrounds, man. If you ever get a chance to look up some of the backgrounds that they painted for that series, they will blow your mind. The amount of architecture that they borrowed from other cultures, just the details in it is spectacular. It's ridiculous how much work they did on the series, and great book. I wish they would release a second one. I'm hoping that with the new series coming out, Korra, that they end up releasing an art book for her as well, which will be great. Speaking of Korra, I still haven't heard a release date yet. I know it's only been 2 days since I recorded the voice booth episode, looking it up. But, and I mentioned it in the voice booth episode, you know, D. Bradley Baker was on Rob Paulson's Talkin' Tunes podcast, and he mentioned that ADR is happening on the first 13 episodes, and if my understanding of a production schedule is anywhere near what actually happens or not, it sounds like you do ADR, you know, the sound effects, and you know, have D come in and do, you know, Appa's noises and stuff, and you know, stuff like that. Post-animation, post-recording of everything. So I'm really excited to I mean, I really think we're coming close to a release date on that. So as soon as I find out, obviously I'll throw it up on Twitter. I'm sure with their marketing campaign anyway, you're gonna see it all over the place. Avatar's one of those few shows that there was a blog post on the Washington Wall Street Journal? Washington, it was a big newspaper, and even they're posting information on the series launch. That's how big this thing is, and it's great to see animation, specifically good animation, great animation, getting the respect and the marketing it deserves. So, yeah, I'm sure as soon as they announce a release date, every news organization will have it posted everywhere. I can't wait. I absolutely cannot wait. It's gonna be so good. Anyway, I'm at work. That's it for me. Until next time, see ya.